Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to regular council meeting of Monday, August 25th at 4:30. And I will call the meeting to order, and we have a few opening comments. First, I will have oath of office. We'll be moving that to next Monday when Councillor Zarisky is back. So first off, Crystal, do you want to start?
Yeah, I just want to let everyone know it is the last weekend for summer at the plaza. So thank you so much to all the community for the support. This weekend is Tommy Charles on Friday night, and Saturday afternoon is Roman Kozalewski, wrapping up an amazing summer season on Sunday, August 31st at 2:30 p.m.
Stephanie?
Yes, the application deadline for representatives of social services agencies to apply to serve on the FCSS committee is September 12th, 2025. Information regarding the committee and how to apply can be found on the town's website on the boards and committees page. It's on the career opportunities page, or you can get information by emailing legislativeservices@drumheller.ca.
Tony?
Thank you. Just a reminder that the 2025 community cleanup is a few weeks away. The program will start right after the Kick It to the Curb, bright and early on Monday, September 8th, and it will run to September 18th. For those 2 weeks, our operations crew will be all hands on deck for the annual community cleanup. The program is literally and figuratively heavy lifting, requiring every available crew member and lots of equipment. So be sure to thank our crews out there. Give them a honk or a wave as you go by.
And Crystal, you got one more.
I do. Supposedly I didn't do enough work this month, so she's giving me more. There is 1 month left to submit your nomination papers. It's fast approaching on September 22nd at noon. And if you're thinking about running for mayor or council in the upcoming election, which is October 20th, don't delay. So submit your nomination papers. You can book an appointment with the returning officer by emailing legislativeservices@drumheller.ca or calling 403-823-1347. Making an appointment ensures that your paperwork is completed properly and received on time. So if you do intend to run, please make those arrangements as soon as possible.
All right, and I would just like to formally welcome Esther is our new CAO for the town of Drumheller, and this is her first meeting as the CAO. So we're wishing you all the best and looking forward to great things ahead. So congratulations. All right, do we have any additions to the agenda? Oh, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as presented, please? Tony?
I move that council adopt the agenda for the August 25th, 2025 regular council meeting as presented.
Seconder? Patrick? All in favor? Carrie, can I get a motion to accept the minutes of August 11th, please? Patrick?
I move the council approve the minutes for the August 11th, 2025 regular council meeting as presented.
Seconder? Stephanie? Comments? All in favor? Carrie, can I get a motion for the minutes of the special council meeting of August 18th, please? Stephanie?
I move that council approves the minutes for the August 18th, 2025 special council meeting as presented.
Seconder, please. Crystal? Comments? All in favor? Carried. Can I get a motion to accept the Drumheller Valley Sports Committee meetings of June 25th, please? Stephanie?
I move that council accepts the Drumheller Valley Sports Committee meeting minutes for the June 25th, 2025 regular meeting as information.
Seconder, please. Patrick? Comments? All in favor? Carried. Can I get a motion for the minutes of the Municipal Planning Commission of June 12th, please? Crystal?
I move that council accepts the Municipal Planning Commission meeting minutes for the June 12, 2025 regular meeting as information.
Seconder? Tony? Comments? All in favor? Carried. And can I get a motion for the library June 4th annual general meeting and regular meeting, please? Stephanie?
I move that council accepts the Drumheller Public Library Board meeting minutes for the June 4th, 2025 annual general meeting and the June 4th, 2025 regular meeting as information.
Seconder, please. Patrick? Comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And for the listening public, we do that just for information purposes only, for you to review at your convenience. All right, let's move on to 7.1.1, please, Esther.
Thank you, Your Worship. We're actually going to have our Development Officer, Ms. Antonia, present for us today.
All right, Antonia.
Thank you, Your Worship, Council, and Esther. Like Esther said, I'm Antonia Streliski, the Town's Development Officer. Today I'm presenting our request for decision for both first and second reading of Encroachment Bylaw 02.25. Over the past number of years, administration's become aware of an increase of encroachments onto town-owned lands, including reserved streets, alleys, and titled lots. So these encroachments could be anything from fences, concrete patios, to buildings. However, we've recognized that there's no formalized process in place on how to manage these encroachments of various different sizes or styles. The proposed encroachment bylaw aims to establish a formal guideline for managing these encroachments that extend onto town land of various sorts within the municipality. The regulations within the proposed bylaw will apply to both existing and future encroachments and set out definitions, procedures, responsibilities, and enforcement mechanisms for dealing with these encroachments. So typically administration identifies encroachments through request for a compliance certificate, which is a real property report is completed by an Alberta land surveyor, and then we review that to complete a compliance certificate. And we've noticed an increase in certificates over the last number of years, which have highlighted some of these encroachments of various sorts. In addition, both myself as a development officer, other municipal staff, and the municipal enforcement team frequently handle complaints that deal with these sorts of encroachments. Within our proposed bylaw that's been drafted, encroachment is anything that's been placed on a fixed location on the ground or in the ground or attached to something that extends over or on town land, and includes any structures, so like I mentioned, fences, decks, garages, projecting signage and lighting, hard landscaping, and utilities as well. The proposed bylaw outlines the CAO or their designate as a decision-making authority in authorizing these encroachments, and can be authorized via or proposed in the proposed bylaw within a written authorization or as an encroachment agreement, which would be required to be registered on title, as well as the ability to revoke or amend approvals and order removal of encroachments at any time. Some of the general prohibitions outlined within the proposed bylaw include no encroachments to be allowed on town-owned land, so for titled lots, without authorization from the town. Encroachments onto reserved lands of different varieties would be strictly prohibited unless permitted through other towns' policies, bylaws, or the Municipal Government Act. Additionally, within the proposal, the town will be required to deny any encroachment application or issue a letter of rejection if the encroachment jeopardizes public safety, interferes with the operation of town or utility provider, or obstructs access to a town property, or generally if it's not in the best interest of the town citizens. Provisions for municipal enforcement have been included within the bylaw so that peace officers may issue an enforcement order under section 545 or 546 of the Municipal Government Act, in which failure to comply with that would order an offence. If the property owner would not comply, the town may apply to the court for an injunction, or in some cases remedy the violation at the violator's expense, which could be added to their tax roll. That said, so generally speaking, there would be no financial impact for administration. Costs associated with any written authorization or encroachment agreement will be at the expense of the property owner, and those enforcement orders, as mentioned under section 545 or 546 of the Act, shall be at the expense of the property owner as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Antonia. Could I get a motion, please, Council? Patrick?
I move the council give first reading to encroachment bylaw 02.25 as presented.
Seconder, please. Tony, all in favor? Carried. Okay, can I get a motion to go into second reading, please, council? Tony?
I move that council give second reading to encroachment bylaw number 02.25 as presented.
Seconder, please. Stephanie, comments? Tony?
Yeah, I don't doubt that there's been a number of these that have cropped up over the various timelines here. Just curious, is this obviously a new bylaw? What was the enforcement in place before this? Or was it just build wherever you want to build?
No, so you still can't build currently on town property, whether it be reserve land, public utility, or titled lots. But we just don't have a formalized process in place with how to deal with these. So we have been so the previous CIO and I had been working on writing encroachment agreements for various different encroachments that may have cropped up. Typically, they were things like fences or old garages that had very obviously been built before people knew where their property sort of boundaries were. Um, but there was no formal guidelines that we were really going off with how far we liked the distance being into town property. So Schedule A within the proposed bylaw outlines some distances that we would allow as both a letter of consent or as an encroachment agreement. Now, when so the general process of any encroachment agreement that would be registered on title is if you come to redevelop that specific structure. So you have a fence that's encroaching. If you look at removing that fence and rebuilding, then it would need to go back to the property line and the encroachment agreement removed off title. Same if you had a garage that was encroaching onto town property or similar structure. If you were to redevelop, then it would need to conform to our current land use bylaw and have that removed off the title.
Anybody else? Crystal?
And so currently, if someone comes, they want to develop, there's obviously an encroachment. You're going to work depending if, as long as it's not interfering with like major services, right? You still would be willing to work with that owner and have the agreement or whatever that looks like. Yeah. But like you said, if they have to tear down fully, then it goes back to within their guidelines of their property.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Anybody else? This is a great one to bring forward because that we've dealt with this so many times over the past 8 years, and there was no real, like, not that everything has to set of rules, but I think it's fair to the property owner as well as the town that, people understand. So I'm glad that it won't make somebody take down their garage right now, but if they do rebuild it, then they'll conform with it here. Awesome. Okay, anything else? All in favor, second reading. Thank you. Thanks so much, Antonia. Okay, now we shall move to 7.1.2, and that is Esther, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this report is with regards to our flood mitigation project. So with the multi-year flood mitigation project nearing construction completion and the necessity to complete a number of long-standing land and financial transactions for the program, we are recommending to Council to assign the responsibility of the execution of these documents and this process on behalf of the town from the current CAO, myself, to our retired CAO, Daryl Dromorsky, who is remaining as a contracted consultant to the town for the remainder of this project. So administration is recommending that council give 3 readings to a proposed flood mitigation project designated officer bylaw 30.25 as presented. So specifically, councils can create designated officer positions through bylaw as per the Municipal Government Act. It's highlighted in section 213. as well as Section 210, which is referenced in the bylaw. So what this does is council can establish these positions and specify which powers and duties and functions that they are able to carry out. So this bylaw does establish Mr. Dromersky as a designated officer, or the creation of this position as a designated officer within the community, within the town. So as such, he will be authorized to complete the remaining work for the flood mitigation project, which includes land designations and consolidations, the financial reporting side, and the approvals, contractor approvals for scopes related to the contracts that we have currently, not only with the contractors, but also with the federal and provincial governments. This project and those agreements are set to complete in 2028. There is no financial impact to the passing of this designated officer bylaw to the municipality.
Thanks, Esther. Can I get a motion, please, council? Stephanie?
I move that council gives first reading to flood mitigation project designated officer bylaw number 30.25 as presented.
Seconder, please. Crystal? All in favor? Carrie, can I get a motion for second reading, please? Tony?
I move that council give second reading to flood mitigation project designated officer bylaw number 30.25 as presented.
Seconder, please. Stephanie? Comments, please? Okay, I would like to just say, on behalf of council, we are grateful that Daryl will continue to close off the last of this flood mitigation project. His main focus is dealing with the expropriations that are left, which, in fairness to Esther, these been going on for the past 6 years. So Daryl does know the ins and outs of this whole flood program. So there's no better person to finish this project for the municipality than him. So we're grateful that he's willing to do this as a consultant to the town on the project. So thank you, Daryl. Tony?
Yeah, just for clarity then, so this, we have a contract with Daryl, and this is just in addition to this bylaw gives the signing authority.
So, thank you, Councillor. The agreement will be in place, yes, and this just ties it to make sure that he's able to have signing authority to make those decisions like he's currently been making up until Friday of this past week. In the bylaw itself, should council or actually the council decide to terminate that agreement, it can happen at any time, which is covered under 5.3B, which allows that flexibility for council should it ever choose to do that.
Anybody else? Okay, all in favor of second reading? Can I get unanimous consent to go into third, please? Patrick?
I move the council give unanimous consent for third reading of the flood mitigation project designated officer bylaw number 30.25.
Seconder, please. Crystal? All in favor? Carried. Can I get a motion for third reading, please? Stephanie?
I move that council gives third and final reading to flood mitigation project designated officer bylaw number 30.25 as presented.
Seconder, please. Tony? Comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Daryl. Thanks for taking this on for us and finishing it to the end. All right, let's move on to 7.1.3, Reg.
Good evening, Your Worship and Council. Thanks for your time today. My name is Reg Johnston. I'm the Manager of Economic Development. I'm presenting a briefing note with respect to the downtown area revitalization plan, and it is a 4-year review of the 15-year plan. The town of Drumheller's downtown area revitalization plan is a statutory plan under the Municipal Government Act and is guided by our municipal development plan as well. So it sets out policies for development, investment, and initiatives in the downtown area. And its main aim is to attract investment over the 15-year period. It was approved July 28th, 2021. And it has 5 pillars, which are listed in the briefing note. But yeah, the main intent is for vibrancy and to help business in the downtown area, bring people down there, and have a beautiful downtown. Within the DARP, there's 2 actionable subject areas, one being priority places, and the other being the Section 5 actions. And so the places are literally nodes where we want to invest so that it improves the downtown. And then the second are more program related for the most part. Of the 10 places identified in the downtown area revitalization plan, from a status perspective, 8 have seen investment or are complete. And then of the 35 actions within the DARP, 25 have seen progress. So great results. And that can be measured with a proxy of our downtown commercial vacancy rates, which council has heard me report in previous sessions. So around 2018, it was just under 18% vacancy downtown, which is roughly 1 in 5 spots were not occupied. And now that's down under 1%. So many communities would be quite happy to have that vacancy rate downtown. Again, this was also supported by business who did major investments like the current renovation we see at Reptile World and Wanderlust, and there's way more examples than what's in the briefing note. But yeah, I just thought I'd highlight a few to show how not only did administration and council set direction, but business has followed suit with their own investment. So the direction to council within the briefing note is that they accept the downtown area revitalization plan for your review as information. In the discussion section of the briefing note, we have how a lot of the work actually on the downtown area revitalization plan started prior to 2021 when it was approved. So we did a lot of community engagement, just setting the overall 15-year plan. And in the briefing note, there's some great milestones on how we engage the public with websites and planning sessions and so forth. And then again, this status report is from the first 4 years of the 15-year plan. The next section in the briefing note is the priority places. So again, 8 of 10 have seen some investment. So the first priority place in the downtown area revitalization plan is Centennial Park, which has seen some great improvements as a result of the flood mitigation project. It's just north of the BCF. I think one of the best places in town to look at the river. And yeah, there's been some art exhibit installation there as well, and many people do their wedding photos there. So I think there's a great chance that we're going to see increased future programming in that area. Priority place 2 is Rotary Park, which again, council is aware and the public's aware that we've invested quite a bit in the fountain there. And there's additional covered seating for visitors and residents alike, and it's a very, very busy spot. Center Street North Plaza, again, not a lot of improvement in the area, but we did have a demolition of the curling rink as that structure was at the end of its lifespan. And that area has a really, really good, is a really good opportunity to have a welcoming public space in the civic district going down the road. Coal Miner Park is a great spot located right next to Town Hall here. And administration is working collaboratively with the Atlas Coal Mine for some potential improvements. 3rd Avenue Promenade. So great connections to the river as a result of the flood program as well. Place number 6 is the Spurline Trail connection, which has seen a few improvements with respect to the CN rails to trails. But yeah, we will continue to work on this. Highway at 3rd Avenue or Munchie Park, which I just think is a great location next to the brewery, and it's seen some improvements with some community help. And yeah, it's very aesthetically pleasing and used quite often. From my observations, of course, Triangular Plaza. So won a couple of grants to get that completed, and it opened up June 1st, 2023. Impressive how many different types of events have been hosted in the plaza over the first couple of years, and great spot for pop-up vendors, hub of activity, the only all-season public washrooms that we have in the downtown area, and then that bump out allows for visibility from the highway in both directions, and I think it pulls lots of people into the commercial center of our downtown core. The new road connection at 6th Ave is our place number 2, and it's near completion. The contractor's working there now. Again, an intersection that'll help direct traffic into our commercial district in the downtown, and hopefully the businesses there will benefit from that. Last but not least is the 5th Street Gateway. There hasn't been a lot of improvements in that area, a few as a result of the Rails to Trails project, and we'll continue to seek grant funding to improve that area, but most of our work has been focused on the 6th Avenue extension. So from there, I will move into the actions area, which is the 35 actions within the program. And one of them I wanted to highlight was the street beautification, which is currently in its conceptual planning. Um, it is capital intensive and more like a capital project that you would see in the places portion of the DARP. But yeah, we'll just continue to plan and work on a couple of blocks downtown. And it's in our budgets going forward, but in the planning phase at this point in time. One of the other things I wanted to highlight was there are a few of our actions that we did complete, but the DARP is specific to downtown, and these great results and milestones that we had just happened to not be in the downtown core, but I figured we should count them anyway. So in the DARP, there was a pedestrian cycle bridge planned, and I definitely think that Cahoots Crossing, though not downtown, is a great accomplishment. It definitely gives active transportation connections between the north and south side of the river. Off-leash dog park is another example of that. So we created one at Newcastle Beach as opposed to downtown. Same with the cross-country ski trails available at the Newcastle Beach area thanks to Badlands Trail Society. And last but not least, we're working on coordinated store hours with our local business, but again, not all of that is within our control. One of the last sections I'll highlight is there's some suggested future work there. Main one there being the second bullet, where we will, as per the DART plan, have a 5-year review with the future council in 2026, and we'll look at the vision and the foundational pillars with that council. For a financial impact perspective, it's tough to measure each individual action and place within the DART plan and how that helped business downtown. But again, providing that vacancy on the commercial side of things is a great proxy for the overall success of the program. Communication strategy is similar to other reports for economic development. We'll have it on the YouTube channel and for council. And then the motion is there for your consideration. Schedule A has some progress and supporting information on why it was graded for the rest of the 35 actions. And yeah, we'll take any questions the council might have.
Thank you, Rich. Just a sec here. I'm gonna ask for comments before I accept the thing. So comments for anyone? Patrick.
I just want to say what a great report that is. Thank you for presenting it. I know in the day-to-day work of a municipality, so many things go on, but to be able to say that, you know, staff, administration, council have been able to continue with the vision of this over 4 years and make these improvements and changes as opposed to a report sitting on a desk and collecting dust. I'm very happy to see this.
Thank you.
Crystal?
Well, Pat kind of took my words, but very similar. Just, it's been great working with this team to actually think about the next steps. And when it came to the flood mitigation, actually taking that big step in at Centennial Park and the Fifth Ave and the Sixth Ave, right? Like just thinking about all those things. If we're going to be doing the work, we might as well just do that little bit of extra because in the long run, it's going to make the difference. So it's been a lot of fun being part of some of these projects and really exciting to see the change in our community. And just because I had actually asked Tony when we came, I'm like, this isn't a new document, right? This is from back in the day, but I think a lot of us kind of forgot about it. So it's good to see it again and go through it again. And so hopefully the community kind of goes back to it and looks at the things that have been checked off and that you can actually visually see in our community now. And looking forward to the DARP task force to get a few more checked off. So thank you.
Anybody else? Yeah, just echo that in the sense that I think people think of the downtown revitalization as third and center, and it's like a big from Centennial Park all the way to Sixth. So for future, Reg, continue to promote this because I think it's one of those documents that any documents we had have never sat on a shelf. So I think they got to just keep coming forward so people realize how much of it actually has been accomplished. I give you all kudos to try and solve that the hours. If you ever do that, we'll celebrate.
Yeah.
And as Roger Brooks always said, if you have a strong downtown, you have a strong community. So I think that we're definitely getting there. And just a reminder to people that the downtown is bigger than just those two streets. One thing I have a real thing that I would love you guys to focus is this interior grant. We only implemented that interior grant at the time of COVID. It was just because we were trying to help the businesses because they were closed and stuff like that. So I think it needs to go back to an exterior grant because at the end of the day, some some feedback that I get is frustrating that businesses who could afford to fix their own buildings, the people that really needed the help didn't get it, and it was more the exterior problems. So I think it'd be good if you and the town chamber, kind of rediscuss that one because at the end of the day, exterior is what is going to help the work that Jared and his team are going to do going forward. So that's probably my only comment on that. But no, it's exciting to see. I keep track of the accomplishments, and I see some that I forgot to add to my list, so I'm going to add them to mine. So thank you for bringing this list. All right, anybody else? Okay, can I get a motion to accept that presentation, please? Patrick?
I move the council accept the downtown area revitalization plan for your review as information.
Seconder? Stephanie? All in favor? Carried. Thanks so much, Reg. And now you can move on to your next one, 7.1.4, please.
Thank you. So again, council and your worship, thank you again for your time tonight. This one is a report of the Economic Development or Economic Task Force Strategy Progress Report. For those who were here on council, April 2018, there was a grassroots economic task force that was set up with many businesses and community leaders. And attached to my briefing note is the presentation they gave to council on a very succinct plan. The strategy had 66 actions, and they were within 8 different action areas. So again, lots of work being done by administration and the community throughout this time period as well. The 8 action areas were education, housing, arts and culture, film and media, tourism, medical and government, Drumheller Advantage, which I paraphrased as being our ability to communicate our value proposition on why someone or a business might want to locate here. And then last, industry and entrepreneurialism. So again, I wanted to, just as we'd mentioned team before on the DARP side of things, A lot of this work required committees and businesses and council and administration help to get this done. And so I think we've realized a lot of great changes across all of economic development in the valley in this time frame. Uh, just to check off, some of the first things that were in the strategy were more about capacity for administration to be able to complete some of the work. And those three things were to hire an economic development manager. So thank you, because I benefited from that. And then Erica as well is our communications officer that's dedicated to a lot of things at town, but she definitely gives economic development a lot of great support. And lastly was to have a website that the Drumheller Valley brand could be launched on, and we did a complete rebranding exercise. And then in addition to just being able to check this off for this report, we continually improve that content on our website. This year alone, we did the economic development section as well as the film section. So yeah, it just continues to get better. Again, we can use real estate performance here as a proxy to how well we're doing. So we highlighted the fact that our commercial vacancy was 18 and is down under 1. But as well, maybe not a lot of people know, our industrial vacancy at the time in 2018 was just under 23%. And now it is down under 2. So we've seen lots of improvement on the industrial sector. From a residential perspective, there was well over 150 homes on MLS at the time, and we've filled most of those up, and it's a seller's market. And one of the actions that are a result of our success is our housing strategy and the work we've done in that sector. And now that we have most of our properties full, we've also started to see new investment on the construction side of things in commercial, industrial, and residential. So again, just a great example of the resilience and leadership that local business has demonstrated, and the work that administration and council has done. From a direction perspective within the briefing note, we just ask the council adopts the economic task force strategy progress report briefing note as information. But we're also asking for some direction on how council feels about some of the economic development priorities moving forward within those 8 action areas that I mentioned. And then I've taken the 8 action areas and just given a little summary of them. Education gave us about an 80%. This is a community lab objective. And there is some great work being done here by the Drumheller Continue Learning Society, who's been around long before this initiative, but they have partnerships, of course, with Olds College and Red Deer Polytechnic through the Campus Alberta Central program, and then there's as well partnership with AHS and U of C with Grow Your Own on the nursing side of things, and so this being a summary, but there are some great examples on the education side of things. Within the report card on the housing area, I gave us really strong results, even though we're hoping for a little bit more construction. Reason for, we updated our land use plan, our land use bylaw, sorry, and our municipal development plan 2021 timeframe. That became way less complex and way more development friendly. Cut a lot of red tape, paved the way for us to promote higher density housing and secondary suites and so forth. And we've seen some results on the residential side of things, like the sixplex constructed this year, and some mixed use development downtown. Within that platform as well, we've sold a lot of residential lots, which was one of the action items in the strategy. So examples can include like all the lots in Hillsview that we sold, the lots in the 3 lots in Macmine that we subdivided, and of course the old hospital. We implemented our incentive program that we currently have. Lots of people taking advantage of on the housing side of things. Through the housing strategy as well, we took a look at pricing out that temporary housing for workers, but it was cost prohibitive. And then we decided to work with the partners on the home share application, and we were successful at getting the grant and have been running that program for a while now. I just confirmed last week that there was 44 contracts completed within that program to date, which is 44 people that has found housing as a result. So that's great. Lots of work. Thank you, Greg, to your group on the derelict building side of things from municipal enforcement. Again, some progress on the senior side of things. And yeah, one line in that whole strategy was flood mitigation. And there's a lot of work that's been done by administration, and council, of course, receives updates on that project from the project group. Arts and culture, lots of things being done by Travel Drumheller within this space, including the calendar of events and a grant program. Earlier, council mentioned weekend at the plaza, summer at the plaza, sorry. And yeah, I mean, there's just been an expansion, not only through this, but as well through DARP and community support on our events and activities happening in the community. I also wanted to mention that administration's completed a recreational Parks and Recreations master plan in June of 2023, which will help guide along some of the activities in this. And we continue to host events like Canada Day, Summer at the Plaza, etc. Film and media, still a great film-friendly place. We see about 5 to 10 projects a year. All the information required, like packages and so forth, are all ready to go. Still doing familiarization tours. We do one every 2 years with significant executives from Hollywood coming to town, and we get to show them around, and hopefully that leads to future projects. And then, as per the recommendation of the task force, our permits are still free as part of our incentive program to attract film. Tourism, I gave us really, really high scores on this one as well. The results highlighted by our business needs survey, of course, $116 million in spend by visitors in the town and area as an impact from tourism, and 1 in 4 jobs. That's a great increase over the last 2 or 3 years. Other actions within this area were downtown area revitalization plan, which I just reported on. Just the overall growth of Travel Drumheller in the time I've been here, but at one point in time that was a seconded person, and they have a full board and staff and budget, etc. Additions of public washrooms, and again mentioned in the Plaza project and the DARP. One of the other things that Travel Drumheller measures now is our resident sentiment survey. So we score really, really high on residents on recommending to others if they to visit here, as well as like their happiness with how tourism's being run in the valley. And another goal in there was additional food trucks, and we've definitely licensed a lot of mobile vendors over the last couple of years. One of the lower scores that I gave us was medical and government. There was a lot of goals within this area about advocacy. We do have a standing committee on health that is doing a lot of great work, and there are practicums at Riverside Medical and so forth. But I just didn't want to lose sight of the fact that though council and administration didn't advocate for better ambulance times, I mean, we did a lot of work on things like the cost of power, and that will not only help the hospital in town, but it'll help all business. So, Area 7, Drumheller Advantage, lots of great brochures and pitch kit presentations, lots of facts on our website with respect to why you want to be here. As well, we have a great business directory, so people thinking about coming to town or who are in town, they can see the services available for their business on that. Thank you again to communications. We found some great ways to get our word out there, including the CBC article, Business in Focus magazine article, and as well our business needs survey helps us talk about the great business environment we have in town. Lastly, Section 8 is industry and entrepreneurs. We do work a lot with Community Futures when we talk about support for for entrepreneurs. Yeah, we as administration have also implemented our tax incentive. We work with real estate brokers now and hadn't in the past to sell our land. Updated our community standards bylaw. And then in this area was also working on brownfield sites, and I gave us a really good grade on that. Of course, the former Elks was remediated, the consortium, former hospital, and we continue to work on public works. And out of those 4 sites, 2 have already been sold, and we're working towards future development on them. So the next section in the briefing note is potential future work that council might want to consider administration doing, and we'd love your feedback on that. Again, with respect to the financial impact, hard to pull one objective out and say, oh, that did exactly that for the economy, but at the same time, our real estate numbers speak for themselves, and so a motion's there for council, and the report card on the individual initiatives is in Schedule A, and I'd like to take your questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Reg. Comments? Tony?
Thanks for the report, Reg. I really like the way you laid it out, and the especially the scorecard. You know, so often economic development, people assume, well, it gets things happening and it gets things happening next week, right? I think a lot of us fail to recognize there's a lot of different levers within that get pulled, and the results go down, they surface down the road. Taking us back 6, 8 years to see where we were to today, where we are now on your report card, you kind of say, like, wow, we are doing the right things, right? You have been a key factor in a lot of that. And I think it's the direction that we need to continue, and the rest of this will play out in time. I mean, we've gone from vacancy rates like you spoke about to Drumheller being active. It's vibrant now. Housing shortages, which are good to have, I guess. We have people moving here. We have population increase for the first time in as long as I can remember. So these things are the results, I think, which are playing out over the 6, 8 years of hard work here. So if we can take it another step forward in another 5 to 6 years, it'll be very nice. So thanks for the report. I agree with your scorecard. Good marks, and we still got a little ways to go yet.
Anybody else? Crystal?
I just want to make sure that the community and for future council realize that not all this work can be done without the support from other community members. So, the resident survey, the business surveys, the collaboration with Travel Drum and Chamber and just everyone, right? Community Learning Center, all of that. We have to continue doing those collaborations because that's the only way things can get done. So make sure that continues.
Appreciate both those comments. Actually, to your comment, and Tony and I were just talking about a deal that we worked on. It took us 33 months from initial contact to DP. So to give you an example of time, and then so appreciate that. And as well, Crystal, I say it's a team sport a lot, but I appreciate you saying that as well. Everybody here, including council and the community, has done a lot of hard work to make the community a better place. So we'll keep working together.
Patrick?
I'm just curious if going forward you'd find it useful to possibly strike another task force just to refocus, if that would be a useful exercise to you, or do you think that this is still providing good direction?
Well, a lot of the tasks within it are complete, as the briefing note says. So I think it's a great idea to set some time aside to develop another list of tasks and see where the community wants to go from an economic development perspective, and set a new strategy going forward. Again, lots of great work done, but for the majority, I mean, the mayor and I were looking through this a while back, trying to find direction on where to go, and the great news is we got most of it done, but you know, what's next is would be a great answer, even from council, because, you know, those priorities help us make decisions on capacity and so forth. So yeah, I appreciate any feedback on that.
Anybody else? Actually, exactly what I had on my thing is I think you should lead that with the next council. Uh, we were elected in October 2017, and we launched that in early 2018. Ended up with 42 people coming forward to get involved. So I absolutely think it's time to, it's, you know, be 8 years, and a lot of the stuff that I've heard that day one in that meeting is wonderful to see that was accomplished. I think a 50% on the medical and in government, I kind of go because I know how hard we worked on that committee. Yes, it's unfortunate we haven't gotten the SL4. Ambulance wait time is definitely a lot better. Women's institution is going to be a constant lobby, and the sign at the gate was always you could drive 5 minutes to town at the penitentiary, or you could drive an hour, have a good trip, kind of thing. And now with the possibility of some of those housing projects coming to fruition, probably won't be seen in this council's time, but it'd be nice to know we're involved to get it there. So that might be something really important to keep in the back of your mind, because I think that was some of our problem with the penitentiary and the hospital, was there was no housing that would fit. So those could be huge wins for the town. The other one I would like to just remind on, because I think that, and I'm all the same, is what people always looking for that manufacturing company or that industry, which, you know, I try to remind people we're very fortunate to have two really big plastic companies in town. We've got the penitentiary, the hospital, the transportation, farming, tourism. So we do have, you know, a lot of industries, but people still look for that one big plant sort of thing. So I was going to lead into that's where I'd encourage another ECDEV committee, because it's like I always say, if you think you've got some answers, come forward and help out, and let's see if you can get a good response again, because that's how it led to where we are today. So I'd like to make sure I can take this document, because I'm going to forward it on to those 42 people who took the time to commit to the town with us and put all this together, because I think they would be pleasantly surprised to see how much there was actually done in that work. And and then finally, I encourage Esther, your team, because we did work hard to get that downtown revitalization, the housing strategy, the recreation master plan. Is there anything else? But just make sure that those don't get stopped, because those are tools that are going to help move this community forward. And I think they're a lot of time and effort was put into those. So I know that Victoria has to worry about how they're going to get paid, and Jared has to worry about how they're going to get implemented, and Greg has to control all the chaos that's going on around it all. So I know there's a lot involved, but it's really vital that those things don't go to the wayside. So I'm counting on you to keep pushing the drum, my friend. Okay, any other comments? Can I get a motion, please? Tony.
I move that council accepts the Economic Development Task Force Strategy Progress Report as information, directs administration to bring the identified future economic development priority areas to the 2026 municipal budget deliberations.
Seconder, please. Stephanie, all in favor? Carried. Thanks, Reg. Thanks for the work on this. And yeah, if you could forward me those two with the downtown revitalization and this economic task force in one package, I'll get it out to that committee who helped us drive this.
Thank you so much for your time, and thanks for the kind words.
Thank you. All right. Can I get a motion to go into closed session, please, Council? Crystal?
I move that council close the meeting to the public at 5:25 PM to discuss Sandstone Manor and personnel as per ATIA 28, local public body confidences, and ATIA 29, advice from officials.
Seconder, please. Patrick. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thank you to everybody for being with us this week. We will be done at the end of this and wish you all a great week. It's supposed to be nice and warm, so enjoy our summer that we now have. And again, a reminder, be kind to your neighbors, be kind to your family, and enjoy yourselves. Take care.